Okay, hi team. Welcome to our last team call for 2016. It's hard to believe the year is already over, but I don't want to be looking back at 2016. We're here to focus on 2017, and I'm so excited that we have superstar, the Tarah Carr, here as our guest speaker today. I don't know if you saw the post that I did earlier, but I'm going to tell you just a little bit about Tarah and I's relationship. So like I said in my post, and many of you know this story, I was a coach for forever before I actually did anything with my business. And I silently stalked people, and I was in Tara's team page because she is my coach's coach. And I was seeing everybody having all this success. And I want to say I got added to your team page the year you were a top 10 coach. And there's just all this motivation. There's all this stuff. And I was just that skeptic. And many of you might think that occasionally, where I was like, yeah, that's great for her. That could never happen to me. Like, she just has some secret that I don't know. And of course, you know my story, my life kind of changed a little bit, and I've decided, I have this potential of this business. I've seen all these other people do it. Why not me? And in October of 2014, I actually was able to go to a retreat that Tarah hosted. My coach took me as her guest. And it was at that retreat that it was really just a big, huge aha moment to me that I was no different than Tarah or any other coach having success. And she really taught me and welcomed me and just showed me that she literally is just a regular person just like me. And many of you might be thinking the same thing, maybe even about me or Kelly or other coaches on the team. You might be thinking, they're completely unapproachable. Their success could never be mine. And I think what we want to share with you is that we're just regular people too. There isn't a secret. There's just a lot of drive and motivation to get stuff going. So I haven't told Tarah what to talk about. I just told her a little bit about some of the things that some of the team is struggling with. So I'm going to let her just take over. But I will say, Shalene Johnson always says smart people take notes, so make sure you have something to write with so you can take some notes, and hopefully we'll have time for questions at the end.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. I didn't really decide on one particular thing that I want to talk about tonight. I kind of wanted to dish out some tough love in a couple different areas, if that's okay. I feel like I can get all my tough love out for 2016 because we're going to 2017, but I really took a step back because I asked Ashley, I'm like, what do you feel is the biggest thing that your team needs to hear right now? And she was like, I feel like they need to craft a vision. I feel like they really need to craft a vision and believe in themselves. And I had to take a step back, and I'm like, man, that was me. That had my name written all over it. Like when I first became a coach, because, like many of you, I just joined for the discount. Like we were in debt, almost $35,000. I was just lost weight, I knew the programs worked, but I didn't think this whole coaching thing was real. I thought it was a scam. Like when they asked for my social security number and I signed up for the discount, I'll never forget telling my husband, yeah, I'm a coach and, I'm saving 25%. I had to give my social, but it's not that big of a deal. Like it's because I might make money. And he was like, you give your social out again? Because I had accidentally gave it out once before because someone said I want a gift card and our bank got hacked. So, I had a lot of trust that I had to rebuild with him with my social security number, but that's how it kind of started out. For it was like, I don't really know about this thing. But, little by little, as I started, people asking me how are you losing weight? And what's the shake that you're always drinking? Because I drank it with me everywhere. I never even did it on purpose, but I'd be like, oh, got to go to the grocery store, got to get my shake because I forgot to eat lunch. And people just, habitually saw me with this stuff. And so as I started to get those little commissions, it was that little voice inside my head that thought, maybe I could pay off our debt a little bit faster. Maybe I could help contribute to doing this because we were living in Japan. Wives over there didn't get priority with jobs. The Japanese locals did. And I really had no other options. I was doing signing time classes for babies that are hearing, and I was doing photography on the side. So I was doing a couple little things that I was good at. I wasn't great at it, but I was good at it. And so I got a little good with Beachbody until I just realized one day Adam would come home from a deployment. He was the Green Beret Special Forces, and he was just high tempo gone all the time, 10 months out of every year, gone. Literally probably came home to get me pregnant, leave while I was pregnant, come home just to see the baby and leave again. I'm not kidding. So, Jonah was born. He left 6 days after Jonah, which was our second son. He was gone for his first 6 months of life. I became a coach in April. Jonah was born in February. So I had a 2-month-old baby. I had a toddler who was potty training, and I decided I was going to do this thing. I was going to coach. Even though I didn't fully believe in myself, I was going to coach. And so when he came home from that 6-month deployment and Jonah was 6 months old, I will never forget sitting there on the couch and watching him play with the boys And all of a sudden, like a flood of emotions just hit me. And I just started crying because we had been talking about Beachbody and he was just casually asking how it was doing. And I had done fairly well. I had made a couple $1,000s. And he said that one little phrase to me that it was my motivation for the years to come, where he said, keep it up, baby. Maybe one day you could retire me from this. And I remember just crying because of just, I never thought that was even possible, that he would ever retire or get out, or that was ever an option. And so we had that deep conversation where I was like, were you serious when you said that? Like, if I could really do well at this, would you get out? And he was like, yeah, if you could match my pay, then I would get out. And so that's where my mindset shifted from, I should eat better, I should work out more, I should talk to more people, I should get more organized with my business too. I must work out more. I must prep my meals and literally eat to live and not live to eat. Like, I must talk to more people. I must form relationships. I must put Post-it notes all over my house and change my mindset of everything that I think I can't do, and put Post-it notes everywhere just telling me that I can. Like, everything I think I should do, it's not a should anymore, it's a must, because that was an option that I knew had to happen. And so that's the first thing I want you to do is, if you have a deadline to your success in coaching, quit now. I'm not even kidding, quit now. And Ashley might kill me for saying that, but if you have a deadline to when you say, if I'm not successful by this date, then I'm going to quit, just quit now. Because there should never be a deadline to anything that is going to bring you success in your life, because it never happens like that. It isn't like you just get this magic wand and you're like, on this date, I'm going to go diamond and that's going to be that. And I'm going to make this much money. It's the small things that you do every single day that compound effect into the big picture. Where I'm at today, sitting in our house, in the place that I planned 5 years ago on a vision board, didn't happen because I said I had to hit certain goals in a year or I was going to quit. It was a non-negotiable, I'm going to do this every day, or my husband very well may die at war because he's gone 10 months out of every year in a combat zone. And if I have another opportunity that could make him not have that danger, then I'll be damned if I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to give it my all every single day. And so that's what I did. It was like, literally, if there was hashtags that were big back then, it would have been hashtag no matter what. So when it was 2:00 in the morning and someone sent me a message on Facebook and said, I'm interested in talking about coaching, how do I get a hold of you? I didn't make them feel bad and say, well, I would have to stay up until 4:00 in the morning, because if I convert the time, you're at this time, they're not going to stay up until 4:00 to talk to me. So I did it no matter what. So it was, I can talk to you at this time. Does that work for you? And I would calculate it in their time zone and they'd say, yeah, 1:00 works great for me. And they didn't know that it was 2 or 3 o'clock in my morning, but I would stay up. So I had to lose sleep. And so you're going to have to understand that if you have a no matter what goal, or you have a no matter what vision, that certain sacrifices need to happen. And it's not you just being too totally obsessed with what you're doing or obsessed about money or whatever it may be. It's just your no matter what goal. And sometimes that's what it takes. I also agree that, there has to be balance. I was the only parent that was there for our boys. And so it was priority to me that they knew that they were loved, that they were cared for, that I was present. And so when my boys were up, I had scheduled times where I was playing board games with them. I was doing fun little crafts. But then when they took a nap, I was working. Or when they went to bed, I was working. I wasn't wasting time on Facebook. I wasn't watching reality TV, although I do like some of those things. I couldn't do it until I met my no matter what goal. So you need to evaluate your life. Look back at 2016 and ask yourself, did I waste a bunch of time watching shows that really didn't matter? Did they add value to my life? Maybe do I know half of what the Kim Kardashians did, but I don't know half of what my coach's life looks like right now? What are you invested in the people that are even saying yes to you, to your customers, to your coaches? Do you know their pain points in their life right now? Do you know what they're struggling for? And that's what I focused my time on, was getting to know my team as much as I could, the painful things, the happy things, how many kids they had, when their birthdays were, and I invested what energy I had into that. The next thing is you got to raise your standards. So I had to look at my life, and I was very grateful for everything that we had. My husband had a stable military pay. We had healthcare covered. We had a roof over our head. And a little part of me almost felt guilty of goal setting and saying, oh, I've got to match his pay, or whatever. Because I was thinking there's people that have it far worse than we do. So why would I sit here and make these goals? But I realized I had to raise my standards, because I wasn't going to allow guilt to make me feel bad for just wanting a different life. Because I finally realized that one of my love languages is giving. I love to help people, whether that be monetary or my time. And I realized I couldn't give as much time as I wanted, because I couldn't afford babysitters. And I realized I couldn't help a bunch of people that I wanted to financially help because we didn't have the means to do so. So once I realized if I raised my standards on what became our normal, that I wanted to be able to give without checking my bank account someday. And that's still, even on a very large scale, an even bigger goal that I still have. Because I was giving and set big lofty goals, and I would be public about them on social media. This is why I want to do it. And so when you are talking on Facebook about your goals, make sure you're explaining why. Don't just tell people you want to be a coach because they don't know. Talk about what it means to you or to the people that might be joining you, or what's going to happen when that happens, or why you want to make the certain pay you have, which leads me to making sure in 2017 you're setting SMART goals. Chalene Johnson preaches this. I literally would fall asleep with her in my ear going, is that SMART, Tara? Would Chalene say that's SMART? And the acronym stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time sensitive. So every time I would sit there and I would say to myself, okay, I want to go 2-star in 60 days. I would break that down. Is that SMART? Well, sure. Why not, right? Is it realistic? It's realistic if I'm willing to put in the work that's required to do it. Is it attainable? Absolutely. Other people have done it before me. You know, like I had to go through that. Time sensitive. Well, when am I going to hit that? Okay, 2 months. So I never just set a blind goal of saying, you know, I'm going to do this. It was, why am I going to do it? And then I'm going to reverse engineer how to do it. So how many coaches do I need to make that happen? How many diamonds do I need on each side? What is their volume requirement? Like, these are all things that might make your head spin, but guess what? It made my head spin back then too, because I didn't know what it meant. I had to Google it. I had to go in my back online office. We didn't have an FAQ or even a training system back then. We had nothing. So I couldn't wait for answers to come to me. I had to go find them. I had to call Coach Relations back in the day and be like, what does it mean to be diamond? How much volume does a person need? Because we didn't have PDFs for that. And so, you know, we fill in the holes as years go by and say, coaches should really have easier access to this information. And so we're in such an awesome time where we have that all at our fingertips. Now it's up to us to reverse engineer that and say when we're going to hit that. So the biggest thing that's going to help you have success in this business is realizing that self-discipline comes from within you. Your success doesn't come from Ashley. It doesn't come from Kelly. It doesn't come from me. Inspiration can come from us. Guidance can come from us. Ideas can come from us. Love and support, and maybe some tough love from time to time. But the self-discipline has to come from you. And you can have all the knowledge in the world, but there's reasons why some people are wildly successful in their first year of coaching, and there's reasons why it may take others 5 years. And it doesn't matter so much the time that it takes you, as long as you're willing to accept the ownership that you are where you are because of the work that you put in. So when Ashley says, you know, for years I was just like, oh, good for her. It must be good for her. Ashley wasn't doing the kind of work that she's doing today. She was taking more time doubting herself and not doing what she knew she should have done because she would hear other people talking about it. But then once she finally just got over herself, which is the biggest thing we all have to do, is just get over ourselves and realize people don't really care so much about what we're posting. Their life doesn't consume around them following just us. And so we just have to get over that fear of sharing personal stories to connect with people, or going for the ask is what I say. You know, have you ever considered joining us? Have you ever considered trying a program at home? Have you ever considered drinking Shakeology? And once I myself became more comfortable asking that question to other people, or being more open on social media, more people started to say, you know, I have considered it. I just don't know more about it. And I'm like, great, I would be happy to tell you. And so you have to remind yourself that don't assume people know what you're doing. Don't assume because you're consistent on social media, you're positive, you're happy that they know what you're doing. Because I learned that throughout the years, people joined other teams because they had no idea that I was even a Beachbody coach. They're like, oh, I just thought you were really happy and positive and you never asked me to join you. So I just assumed you weren't even taking new people. And I thought, that's crazy thinking, but we just can't assume. So make sure you're always going for that ask. The next thing is to be aware of dream crushers. So when I was in Okinawa, and I did get super excited, right? I kind of became obsessed. I talked about it all the time. I talked about wanting to bring Adam home. I celebrated when we paid off debt. I was on cloud 9. I read personal development all the time. And I would just have friends or acquaintances either say things to me or behind my back about how this was never going to work. This was just a fad. And eventually I was going to fizzle out and I wasn't going to make it. I had one of my very, very close friends when I had Jonah, and I was so excited to tell her that I was going to do this. Like, I was going to bring Adam home. He was on board with it. Like, I was so excited. She looked at me and laughed and said, "Oh, honey, be lucky if you get to shower while he's gone. You're a new SF wife and you're new to this world, but you'll realize real quick that we don't get a lot done aside from taking care of the home front when they're gone." And that to me was almost music to my ears, because it was, watch me. Watch me. You know, you're going to think that I can't do this and tell me that I'm not even going to shower. Watch me. And so as I started to do things and celebrate them, little by little, I noticed friend requests going away. And at first I kind of let that get to me. And I thought, should I stop? Should I stop? What if I lose all of my friends because they don't like what I'm doing? But I had to give myself a reality check and say, then those aren't my real friends. If my real friends can't be happy for me, can't like my stuff, can't support me, they don't have to buy from me. But that if they can't even cheer me on and just see me be happy and be happy for that, then those aren't real friends that are in my life. And so you have to be aware of dream crushers and realize that you might face some hard moments in 2017 where you might have a friend that you think is a really close friend, but as you start to see success with maybe even just your health or your fitness, you'll realize little by little they're trying to sabotage you, and they want you to go out more and more for girls' nights and go drink wine and do all these things when you're trying to tell them you're committed and you're on a different path, but they don't want to go on that path with you. And so they just kind of go far away. Don't let that stop you from staying consistent, and don't let that change your course because you feel you have to remain who you are to be their friend, because a true friend is going to love you no matter what. So the good news is a lot of times those people come back around, right? So I'm sure you guys see Danielle Hogle on our team, and I love one of the many parts about her story was that she made fun of me for months behind my back, texting old friends. We went in the same hometown, went to high school, just making mad fun of me for everything I did, all my posts. They rolled their eyes at me, and now they're all on our team. And she hit a leap this year, and she's a 5-star Diamond coach. Like, and we're going to go meet Britney Spears together in like 2 weeks. Like, I think it's hilarious because I just had to stay me. I just had to stay consistent. And even though I found out later that Danielle was doing that, I didn't let it upset me or change how I posted or anything, because that was about her. And the people that are going to judge you or talk about you or whatever, that's about them. Has nothing to do with you. It's about them. And you just need to give them time to come back around. And so a couple tangible how-to steps that I want to give you guys as homework assignments. And I'm so proud of Ashley because I can see her background. I'm like, dang, she is so good and she's consistent with listening. You've got to have a visual of where you want to go. So you need to create a vision board. I know some people make fun of them. They think they're corny as all whatever. I don't really care. Those people can say what they want, but you need to see it and look at it every single day. I'm talking short term, long term, and all can just discombobulated into one page. When I first became a coach and I was an emerald, I had it on there on my board. I'm going to bring Adam home. I am going to make $250,000 a year. You're talking about a family who wasn't making more than $30,000 a year, who had $35,000 in debt, and I maybe had made $1,000 with Beachbody. But that was my goal. I said I was going to do it. I surpassed that within 2 years of coaching. So did I think though it was possible when I put it on there? No. But I had to learn that I had to start believing it was possible. I had to start working and acting as if I already made $250,000 a year. I had to say to myself, what does a person do who makes $250,000 a year? They don't just treat this business like a hobby and decide to check in whenever they want. I started checking my back online office 3 times a day because I was like, well, I'm going to treat it like I have to clock into work. So I'm always going to know what's new. I'm always going to know what's changing. I'm going to create systems to track my income because it's just like weight loss. If you say, I just want to lose some weight, you never hop on a scale, you never take your before measurements, 2 months go by, you kind of feel a little bit better, but you don't really know the specific things that you've achieved. You don't really know how much weight you've lost or what, how many inches you've lost. So in your business in 2017, I hope you will utilize the tracker that I posted in the Big Team page where you track all of the streams of income that we can make with coaching. So you know what your matching bonus is, which means is your team growing. It's not just about you making money, it's making sure the people you're bringing in are making money. So are you tracking that? What's your growth percentage of that from month to month? And I tell you, it's those little things that got me super excited, because if I would have just said, I've got to make that $250,000 a year, even though it was just a goal I threw out there because I was like, I just want to make sure we're like extra safe, right? That's super scary to get out of the military when that's all you know and just walk away from all of that. And so that I threw that number out there because I just thought we'll just be super safe with income, you know, more than, and you have to track the small steps. When I realized like, okay, I have 5 of my coaches making $100 a month. That was important to me because I didn't want it to be just about me. And so in 2017, I hope you'll track every little thing that you do with your business. So it's kind of like Dave Ramsey's snowball effect, but in the opposite way. You can see it get bigger. It's a compound effect time after time. And it's also a reality check because as each week goes by on every Thursday, if you get in the routine of every Thursday, I've got to crunch in my numbers, and week by week, you start putting in zeros. The only person that's responsible for putting in a 0 in that section is you. It's not Ashley, it's not Kelly, it's not me, it's not your sponsor, it's not your success partner, it's you. Are you talking to enough people? How are you with your fitness? How are you with your health? What are you being an inspiration to other people? In what way? You know, are you going on Facebook Live? Are you getting out of your cover? How many personal development books have you read? Because if you constantly keep putting 0, I promise you can't answer all those questions for me with great answers. Maybe okay, but not great. And great answers is what builds this business because it is a business and not a hobby. So if you treat it like that, I promise you, slow growing, it will grow, but it takes time with consistency. So the next thing is the Post-it notes that Ashley has on her wall. I started every time someone would sign up with me, I would put a Post-it note on my wall of where that person was in my business. And I would reverse engineer who was on board that wanted to go diamond, who wanted to go emerald, like who were my business people, because I was going to run with them. If they wanted to run, I was going to run alongside of them. I wasn't going to drag anyone who wasn't willing, because I didn't join this business to drag people. I joined it for people to run alongside of me. And so I put it on my wall, and that's how I tracked who was going emerald, who was going diamond. What did that mean for me, big picture? You know, I wanted to go 5-star. And then the year that Ashley said she was on my team page, I wanted to be top 10 that year because it took my mind off of my husband being at war. And that was the biggest thing that I loved about it, because before Beachbody, I was filled full of anxiety and fear that every day I was going to have someone come knock at my door. I was worried if I didn't hear from him that something was wrong, or he was injured, or whatever it may be. But when I had Beachbody and I'm doing calls at 2 o'clock in the morning instead of staring at my ceiling in my bed, I was preoccupied and I felt like I had a purpose. And all of a sudden, I wasn't just an SF wife. I had an identity of people calling me a mentor or their coach. And it just made me so excited to wake up every single day and have a different purpose. And so you'll feel those feelings. I promise you and I assure you, you'll feel those feelings, but only if you do the work. Only if you put in the time and ask people to run with you and not be afraid, because I never in a million years thought we would have the team the size we do. I can remember my husband and I 2 years in saying, could you imagine if 50 people joined us one day? Like if we had 50 people on our team, how crazy that would be, because that's how big my mind was. I had no idea how the commission structure happened. You know, I wanted to make this big goal, but I didn't know how it happened. And we have thousands of people on our team. We were our top 10 team for almost 3-4 consecutive years in a row, because I didn't know all the rules, like I said in the beginning. So my first year, we would have been number 2 had I had the right rank. Didn't pay attention, had no idea. And so that's why the second year I was like, we have to lock this in, and we made top 10. So you've got to set those scary goals for yourself. Even if you look at yourself and you think, I don't have the characteristics, I don't have the personality, I don't have the looks. People love people who are just themselves. They don't want someone who's perfect. They don't want someone who they don't trust because they're too perfect. People love to see other people's flaws, but not in such a negative way. Like, don't be afraid to just be yourself. I've cried live on social media. Heck, I just cried tonight talking about how Jessica Bobora saved her house from foreclosure because of the team and because of all of our followers. And, you know, I finally had to realize I don't need to apologize for crying, because crying is just a part of life, whether you're happy or you're sad. So, you know, don't ever apologize for who you are, and just be authentic, and people will see that. So I hope that you guys will brainstorm with Ashley and get very specific on what 2017 is going to look for you. What are you going to do every single month? What goals are you going to achieve? What size clothes maybe do you want to fit back into? How much money do you want to earn? How many business builders do you want to have on your team? I mean, literally be so specific on every little detail. But last but not least, my last point, don't let those details paralyze you from moving forward. You just have to do. So even though I had these goals and I had this reverse engineering and I was like, okay, I need 8 people and 2 emeralds to go diamond. I didn't know who those people were going to be, but I didn't let that paralyze me from not moving forward. I just was like, I don't know who the spots are going to be. So they're empty Post-it notes right now. But the more people I talk to, and I'm going to start a fit club, and I'm going to form these relationships, and I'm just going to hope that these people want to coach with me someday because I'm so darn consistent, and hopefully they think I'm fun, that I'll get to diamond. And so that's all I did. And I filled the Post-it notes with names as people joined. And I went diamond in, I think it was 21 days. So you just don't set goals either so small. So when you go to set for 2016, no one better dare have I want to be an emerald coach by the end of 2017. Like, I want to become a coach within 30 days. Everyone knows 2 people. There are 2 people right now who want to join you. They just maybe A, don't believe you enough yet that you're going to stick around and be here a year from now just telling you the truth. Most people thought I was going to quit. Hello, 5 years later, I'm still here now doing it full time. B, they don't know enough about what you do because maybe you don't even give them enough information or you don't go for the ask. So do they know enough about what you do? And C, you're just too afraid. You're too afraid to put yourself out there too much. So you got to just get over yourself. Just get over yourself, start making videos, start working out live, do whatever you have to do to show more of yourself to other people so you can allow people to ask questions. Because some of you are so consistent with being positive on social media, but you have this invisible shield where you're like, secretly, don't ask me any questions. Don't ask me about my personal life. Don't ask me anything. I'm just super positive and happy, and I hope you'll want to join that too. But you've got to let people in on the painful points too. You've got to let them trust you. You've got to let them feel like it's okay for them to open up and share with you because their life isn't all sunshine and roses. None of our lives are sunshine and roses. And if that's all you're sharing, they're going to be afraid that A, they're going to bring their negativity to you, or they're going to feel inadequate because they feel like you're always positive and happy and they're not. So they're not going to feel like this is something they can be a part of. So you just have to let them feel normal because that's what we all are. We're normal. I'm still no different than what I was when I joined 5 years ago. I'm still the same person. So as long as you don't let this process change you of who you are and you only let it amplify who you are inside, I can assure you that you will too eventually have thousands of people that are knocking down your door because they just can't help to want to be a part of it. So Ashley, I'm so grateful that you had me on your last team call for 2016. That's huge. I thank you so much. And if you do want to open it up for any questions, I'm all yours.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you. That was all awesome. I do want to tell people, because since you talked about Chalene Johnson's thing, the book Push is a fantastic book. They just released a paperback edition. So if you want to kick off your 2017 with some good goals, this is a great book that can really teach you about setting goals and crushing it. Does anybody have any questions that you'd like to ask Tarah? Don't be shy. Valerie, go for it. Feel free to unmute yourself. Or I can unmute you.
Sorry, I'm on my iPad because my husband's on my laptop, so I had to push the button. The main thing I'm struggling with right now is we are at a fairly new base, so Air Force Life here. We live 30 minutes from base, and we have one vehicle right now because we have a lot of debt. My problem is, how do I go about meeting new spouses and friending them without coming across as I have this hidden agenda as a Beachbody coach, because everybody's doing LuLaRoe here, everybody's doing Cincy here, everybody's doing It Works, and it's like I feel like I'm coming across as just another military spouse who is trying to like just sell people stuff.
For sure. And you know what? No matter what, that's going to happen. When I was in Okinawa, same parallel. One car, too much debt. I typically had the car, but when he was home, I didn't, and I fell into that same rut of like, even when do I have time to have a fit club? Because we couldn't afford childcare at the time, so it was just all these different things. But realize no matter what you do, people are going to make fun of you on the base. They're going to think that's your agenda. Someone in Okinawa actually made a group about me, and they added a bunch of people. So I was like, oh, that's fun, or it was just like anti-Tarah Carr or something. But you just have to be you, like literally as much as you can on your own personal page. Always ask yourself when it comes to social media, am I talking or am I teaching, right? Like, am I just making a post to post it, to put a check in the box and say, I posted on social media today? Or are you teaching them something? Or are you sharing something that's personal about yourself? And it's not always just filler content. And so I think the more people find you interesting to follow, word of mouth is the biggest thing that's going to grow your business. So if you find one girl on base who loves following you, who loves being in your group, it's so fun for her to do. Maybe you guys meet up once a month or whatever it may be, and you all go to Starbucks or whatever. It's something to be a part of at the base, and other people are going to want to be a part of that. And that's what happened for me in Okinawa. It was just, I had to earn a couple people's trust before those people's trust spread to their neighbors, and all of a sudden I had all these people who wanted to be a part of what we were doing. So as long as you just mean true to who you are and sharing and adding yourself into some local groups that you have and just trying to add value and not always so much ever talking about Beachbody, my only goal and agenda was to add value into any group that I was in so I could form some relationships. So we'd friend each other on Facebook, and then they would decide whether or not they liked me, because I was just going to post about me, my life, my marriage tips, whatever it may be. And most of the time that's how messages would start, is they'd say, I found you from this group. I follow you, for a while now, and I really am interested in what you do. Can you tell me more about it? So make your life more interesting. And I don't say that in a mean way, just make it more interesting for them to follow you. What are you putting out there for them to want to message you?
Awesome. Thanks, Tara.
You're welcome.
That's awesome advice.
Anyone else?
Yeah, anyone else? Nobody?
I don't have a question, but I really want to just reiterate what Tara said about don't sell yourself short in this business. I think a minimum goal for every single person, no matter what, should be Emerald. Just immediate, that should just be what it is. And I think some people look at, and your ideals about rank kind of change as you move forward. And then you look back and go, oh, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be. And so if you're one of those people that, hasn't advanced past coach, I want you to really take a look inside and say, why is that? Because two people, that's it. And spouse can be one of them. So that's kind of my goal for 2017, is to just help people find that inside of them. Or if you're an Emerald right now, why not Diamond? You're not far. So, just have some more confidence and reach out to upline coaches. But every single one of you is completely capable. I know personally a lot of you on this call, and that I'm no different than any one of you, at all. Probably a lot have more chaotic life than a lot of you. and I'm doing it, and Tara's the same, and Ashley's the same, and Mandy's the same, and JC's the same, and everybody on this call is the same. I think what we have that could be different between some of us is that belief in ourselves, and just, the keep your eyes on the prize, that rhino attitude, move forward, because I know that you guys are all capable of it. There's not some magic formula that makes what I've done different from what any of you could do.
I think the biggest thing for me that was a motivator that might motivate you is because this business takes time and maturity. It's not something that happens overnight. And I knew that volume was a residual income, and that in order for Adam to get out, I had to show him residual, because that was the only way he was going to leave the career that he had put 12 years in for. So to me, I knew as soon as I hit Emerald, I started storing all of my volume into a savings bank, so to speak. And because I didn't have a lot of it, I'm on an inside leg. I have no upline volume. So I hope that helps you, because a lot of people tell me, well, I have no upline. Me either. I don't have an upline volume. So I knew I had to save every little point that came in every week, because eventually, years down the road, I had that mindset that I was going to cycle off of that. But I could never drop my Emerald rank because I couldn't lose what I had saved up. So when I went Emerald week by week and I had 20 points here and 50 points here, I needed to save those points because I was hopefully going to cycle off of them that next week. Whereas if I ever lost my Emerald, I lost all my savings account of all my points. So get to the mindset of I have to keep saving every little thing that I'm given right now, because this business is time and maturity. It's never overnight. You can't have the mindset of I'll just wait till 1 week or 2,000, or whatever, because odds are you won't even be there to see that happen if you're in that mindset. So just look at the benefits of why you should be there, so to speak. Anyone else?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to reiterate, because everybody knows my story, and I know I think for 2017, as we go into 2017, you have to come to that place where you 100% make the decision that you're all in. I think what Tara said at the very beginning, if you have that mindset that I'm gonna see how this works in another 2 months, and if I haven't made this, then I'll quit. Like if you have that mindset, like she said, you should quit today, which is kind of some hard truth. But you have to have that mindset that you're going to be in it for the long haul. Make that decision, because everything changed for me in my business when I made that decision that I was in this. It was like a light switch. It was night and day. I was in this. I was going to treat it like a business. I was going to show it like a business. Like Tara said, when you have what is it? Somebody who owns a $250,000 business, what does that look like? Well, you're not messing around on Facebook, and you're not just being awful with your time. You're working it. So I just want to encourage you to make that decision. We're about to run out of time. So thank you, Tara, so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. If you have any questions later, send me a message and we'll get them to Tara. Bye, guys.
Bye.